live in downtown Detroit. Local 4 live stream with Jason Carr starts now.
Good morning and welcome to day one of That Was Then and This Is Now. We are in uncharted territory moving forward past the presidential election. We are expecting to hear from Hillary Clinton by 10:30, and if that goes as planned, we will be interrupting Live in the D on TV to bring that to you, as well as streaming it live on clickondetroit.com. Seated to my left, screen right, finally making his on-camera debut after 2.5 months of being the unseen voice on the other side of the wall. How are you, John?
I'm doing well. A little tired. Long night last night.
Yeah.
Long night.
Yeah, it was almost depending on your worldview, whether you support President-elect Trump or don't support him, and in fact subscribe to the Twitter hashtag #NotMyPresident, it was a surreal evening as it unfolded.
Yeah. I mean, I was here till 2 a.m. I don't think the race actually was called until around 2:15, almost 2:30. It was a long one.
Writing in, let's see, where is this? Forgive me, I had this separate. Here we go. Under a headline titled, "Before I Pack My Bags," the writer says, "Now it appears clear that Trumpland was even more impenetrable to us than we thought, even to our most able opinion seekers. Instead, Steve Schmidt had it right on MSNBC. The people who are for Trump are not embarrassed to be for Trump. This, presuming they're embarrassed or silent, this is a fiction of the New York City corridor imagination who are embarrassed for these people, and that is part of the condescension." Probably the most succinct, certainly intellectual way, writerly way of summarizing what happened across America last night with the election of Donald Trump. The electoral map, just a huge swath of red through the heartland and blue on the coasts, New York and California. So the Republicans have retained control of both the House and the Senate. Michigan, too close to call with 95% of the vote in. So we have a Republican in the White House, Republican control of the House and Senate, and that could very well change the landscape of the Supreme Court for a generation. And indeed, a lot of Trump supporters said that the Supreme Court was among their concerns. How do you explain, if you are not a Trump supporter, and we did see many photos of Democrats bringing their children to the polls to vote for Hillary Clinton, presumed to be, by some, the first female president in our country's history. How do you explain the Trump victory to kids is a popular headline on in the media this morning. How do you, if you are a disillusioned Hillary Clinton supporter, as your kids wake up this morning and you see them off to school and they want to know what happened, how do you plan to break the news to them? Let us know via the comments below here as we continue this Facebook Live the morning after the election. As news agencies called more and more states for Donald Trump last night, Canada's informational website on immigration and citizenship began experiencing repeated outages, presumably due to a large surge in traffic. And of course, on social media, there were those who joked that Canada had purposely taken this down or made it unavailable because they don't want a stream of crazies coming across the border to join them on their side of the river, as it were, here in Detroit. Let's see. One American not on the planet cast his vote from space, keeping with NASA's motto of "Vote while you float." Astronaut Shane Kimbrough filed his ballot via secure electronic ballot from space. So there's that. We having graphic difficulties back there? All right. We have writing lines of text. The image posted to Instagram, shared repeatedly across social media. Anonymous pupil connected any letter with a straight line writing vertically from the top of the page to the bottom. So we will get to that momentarily as soon as we solve our graphics interface back here. While we're doing that, let's get to bowl of bacon, because there is no shortage of reaction, pro and con, to the election of Donald Trump to the presidency, the defeat of Hillary Clinton. Gary and Pam Sprouse, I think it shows just how much people in our country have been disappointed in the elected representatives. It was a seat of your pants election, another word message to representatives to do your job. Thomas says, just get yourselves ready for World War III, because those countries that hated us are laughing their off at America, and they're coming to take it away from us. They already knew that Trump is an idiot and he's going to get us all killed, says Thomas. Martha, if you haven't found God, you start looking. I fear for my grandchildren's way of life. Susie says, no reason to hold on to negativity. Where will that get us? I pray we unite as one nation under God, and Mr. Trump can lead as we the people deserve. Everything good takes hard work. Judith says, hopefully he will find a way to have companies come home. What every American should have is a job where they can have a life. China grew into a major power because they sucked the jobs out of us. It's about a decent job. Vicky says, there goes women's rights. Bruce is relieved that Donald Trump is going to be our next president. Barb says, we are doomed, crying my eyes out as I watch my family lose everything in their 401k. Liz is horrified. Heather says it sucks. I think I'm still in a dream and haven't woken yet. I think I will awake in 4 years. Meanwhile, Melissa is happy and peaceful. Hillary is perfect for prison, not president. Looking forward to change. Hopeful for America for once, says Melissa Zimmerman. Sharon says, I can't effing believe it. What do you think? You can answer the bowl of bacon on my page on Facebook at Jason Carr TV, or you can do it right here in the comments on this Facebook Live. John, how are we faring with the graphics?
We're doing well. Let's go back a little ways. I've got a little music set up, I think, and let's talk about the election. What have we
Isn't
been
that what
about?
we've been doing for the last 10 minutes?
Talking about. So,
Sean Lay, how are you?
Got a couple of photos here from last night. This was at the rally, him and the new first family.
Barron Trump was struggling to keep his eyes open.
Late night.
He started trending at one point. People were worried about him.
It was a late night for all of us.
It was a late night, indeed it was. Again, if you're just now joining us here on the news feed, Hillary Clinton will be speaking to the country at 10:30 this morning. Of course, we're going to carry that for you. Are we going to stream that?
Yes, we'll be streaming it on Click on Detroit.
We'll stream it on, Click on, and also we'll preempt the back half of Live in the D. Don't forget, we are still doing Live in the D, top of the hour, 10 o'clock, myself, Chuck, and Tati. We will be doing, not a politics show, we can't not acknowledge that there was a presidential election last night, but at the same time, it's not exactly a news talk show. It's sort of like a coffee talk type of show. So we're going to try to straddle that line. Hopefully you will join us. Happy to have you here on a Wednesday on Jason Carr Live on Facebook. I mentioned about explaining a Trump victory to kids, the children of Hillary supporters.
Yes, this was the cutest little picture of this little girl holding the Hillary doll. I mean,
a Hillary action figure.
The action figure.
3 years old, right? This little girl? So if you're her parents, how do you explain to a 3-year-old that the person that they had been
admiring for probably their entire life? Now, here's a photo, though, of one 3-year-old who's just enjoying it. Yeah, pretty great.
No matter which side of the fence you're on, that works out, right? Again, Canada trending because our neighbors to the north, they have an immigration website that has been experiencing the dreaded internal server error as people try to presumably research how you move to Canada in protest of Donald J. Trump's election to the Oval Office. We can skip past NASA. We already talked about the astronaut who voted from space.
Well,
what is Cute Puppy?
I figured with all of this election stuff is over. We don't have to worry about it anymore. But it looks like I might have an issue getting the video up. So I'm going to work on that. But we've got some great video of a cute puppy. Thought that would help.
Again, this
and
is day one
it.
of That Was Then, This Is Now, and a popular meme, or I guess you could just call it a meme. It's Obama's fault. The fact that your graphics are not working is Trump's fault.
I got to blame somebody. Not me.
Barack Obama's like, hey, you can't blame me anymore. I'm almost out of here. What are the writing lines of text?
Oh, this was kind of interesting. This trended just a couple days ago. There was, you would get told to go to the chalkboard and write the same thing over and over and over. Well, this went viral, and this was a life hack in doing it a little bit faster, just connecting all the straight lines all the way down. And anyways, I think a teacher had posted it to Instagram, and it got shared all over the place.
You know, this is going to sound crazy, but I just had one of those deja vu moments. I think I did something like that as a kid.
Yeah.
That did not go over very well with the teacher. There was no Instagram or Twitter to post the image to, but I seem to recall doing something like that, in a bid for a more efficient writing sentences, and my teacher was not amused. 17-year-old Morgan Lynn from Pearland, Texas, took to Twitter to share a photo of flowers her dad had sent her mom. On the day their divorce was finalized, the father's card read, "Always gonna be you." And that was the mom's favorite flowers there.
Yeah. This is the couple right there, and the tweet read. That tweet back up. The tweet read, "My parents, after 19 years of being married, were going through a divorce, and it got finalized today, and my dad sent my mom her favorite flowers." And there they are.
So it makes you think maybe there's some hope there.
Yeah, maybe they're going to get back together. I don't know.
Maybe, in this day one, and by the way, tomorrow's day 2. The day after that is day 3. Look at this.
Oh.
Jason Colthorpe delivering a breakfast burrito from where? We're live on the...
Honeybee, Laco, Maine.
Oh, Honeybee.
Latino reporters would say Laco, Maine.
I needed this. Thank you. You the man.
That's a Badly Street.
Okay, cooling down hot coffee.
Cat tax.
Oh, jeez. Must you show the cats? You and
of course.
The cats. Look at you, the cat is above your head. So there's John right there, and there's the cat. Method number 1, take off the lid. Method number 2, occasionally blow over the little hole that you're supposed to drink out of. Does the plug make a difference? No, it does not. The fastest way to get coffee to cool is more surface area exposed to air.
Yes, taking off the lid. He did a full experiment, had temperature gauges, and occasionally blew over one of the holes, and these were his findings. Yeah, the coffee with the lid off cooled faster than all the others. And as far as the little green plug there, I'm wondering if taking that out is going to cool it off anymore. The answer is no. It's about the same. It's unmeasurable. So hope you're enjoying your coffee this morning.
What is that, the name of that cat? Do you have a name for
I don't have a name.
Mrs. Bigglesworth?
It's Puss in Boots, or I don't know. Yeah.
What is your fascination with cats, by the way?
I don't know. They're just great. My mother's got 2 cats. One of them's name is Kitty. The other one's name is Buddy, because Kitty needed a buddy. I'm very bad at naming animals. Yeah.
Really? Mm-hmm. Our dog's name is Charlie Tickles, mob enforcer.
Yeah. Oh, so I've got the video of this dog ready now. Take a look at this thing.
That's real?
That's real. It looks like a robot almost, or like
looks like a teddy bear. Actually.
A teddy bear. But that's a real dog.
What kind of dog is it?
It's some sort of one of those tiny Japanese ones. I'm not exactly sure.
This is a pretty good egg burrito that Jason Colthorpe.
The Honeybee Market is fantastic.
It is. Let's go on to eggs on this note. The Dash Go Rapid Egg Cooker. There you go. Make 6 hard, medium, or soft-boiled eggs, individual omelets, poached eggs, scrambled eggs. Turn it on, and it automatically shuts off when the eggs are done. I found this on Amazon. Amazon apparently has launched this movers and shakers section of the website, so you can see what people are buying. And this showed up in the list of movers and shakers. And I said, God, they're reading it. I bought one.
$20.
I bought one. It was so well reviewed, like 4.5 out of 5 stars, like, I don't know, 178 reviews or something like that. I bought one because I'm a sucker for things like the gadgets like this, especially if it has to do with making food or...
Well, imagine you will be able to prepare a dozen deviled eggs in under 10 minutes. Think of all the time you're going to save.
Once upon a time, I bought this, I think it's Hamilton Beach. It's a breakfast sandwich maker. You put the egg in the thing, and boom, and the bing, and the bing, and it makes like an Egg McMuffin style sandwich. And I used it once, and then it dawned on me, why would you not just go to McDonald's and get a perfectly prepared sausage McMuffin with egg any time of day?
I completely
Have you
agree.
gone there?
It's a lot of
Have you
work.
had the breakfast all day at McDonald's?
I did, you know what? Actually, just the other day, I was on a road trip coming back from up north, and I stopped in and grabbed a hash brown.
A
So
hash
I
brown,
don't know if that
hash brown.
counts, but I thought I wanted one hash
Whatever
brown, and I
says
went there and I
hash
stopped.
brown.
Yep.
As opposed to hash browns. Let's see. Arby's venison burger. Speaking of food, remember when we reported on this? By the way, not to return to politics quickly here, but the professor was right. Remember the guy that we talked
Yes.
about back in September who predicted a Trump victory? He was right. He had his 13 keys that had nothing to do with electoral college and any of that. It was, economic circumstance and, voters feeling disenfranchised and so on and so forth. He predicted this, American University professor, and he's right again. He's been right.
It was the last 6 elections he's called.
He's never
Maybe
wrong.
It was more.
So now he's going to be the big soothsayer expert going forward.
Best
All right.
since Nate Silver, probably.
Yeah, Nate Silver, wow, he had a 70% probable win for Hillary, 72% or something at 538.com.
Way
and
off.
Talk about egg on the face. So we go from the Go Rapid egg cooker to the Arby's venison burger. Do you recall that Arby's was launching this in hunting states?
Yes. There's 4 or 5 different states. 4 locations were in Michigan. And according to the National Restaurant News, burgers sold out at all of the locations almost immediately. The longest that any one of the stores were able to keep a stock was 90 minutes.
That's the longest.
That's the longest.
In one state, it was like 15 minutes, right?
Yep.
All right. Do you guys remember You've Got Mail?
You've got mail.
You've Got Mail. Guy's name was Elwood Edwards. He's the guy that voiced You've Got Mail. He is now driving an Uber in Cleveland.
He is driving an Uber. Let's take this.
Uh-oh.
Take this video. This was posted to Twitter.
Can we hear it? Turn it up.
Well,
We had audio there for a second. What happened to
we
it?
certainly did. I'm not sure.
Remember, you can't blame Obama anymore.
No. Thanks, Trump.
It used to be thanks Obama. Now it's thanks Trump.
Well, I will have to work on
Anyway,
our audio.
that was the guy that voiced You've Got Mail. He's now driving an Uber in Cleveland. And in case you're wondering how much he made to record those famous words, $200.
$200. Now remember these
$200.
CDs? I was thinking about this the other day. We used to have CD fights when I was a kid because they used to give out hundreds of these, and we used to just throw them at each other.
Yeah, they're deadly weapons. Paul Krugman, The Economist, under the headline The Economic Fallout by Paul Krugman. It really does now look like President Donald J. Trump and markets are plunging. When might we expect them to recover? Frankly, I find it hard to care much, even though this is my specialty. The disaster for America and for the world has so many aspects that the economic ramifications are way down on my list of things to fear. Still, I guess people want an answer. If the question is when markets will recover, a first pass answer is never. Under any circumstances, putting an irresponsible, ignorant man who takes his advice from all the wrong people in charge of the nation with the world's most important economy would be very bad news. What makes it especially bad right now, however, is the fundamentally fragile state of much of the world 8 years after the great financial crisis. It's true that we've been adding jobs at a pretty good pace and are quite close to full employment, but we've been doing okay only thanks to extremely low interest rates. There's nothing wrong with that per se, but what if something bad happens and the economy needs a boost? The Fed and its counterparts abroad basically have very little room for further rate cuts and therefore very little ability to respond to adverse events. And now comes the mother of all adverse effects, and what it brings is a regime that will be ignorant of economic policy and hostile to any effort to make it work. So we are very probably looking at a global recession with no end in sight. Again, these are the words of Paul Krugman. I suppose we could get lucky somehow, but on economics, as on everything else, a terrible thing has just happened. That is Paul Krugman writing online. What do you think? American people have spoken. We talked about it on the morning news this morning with Nolan Finley. The voters are never wrong, because when they vote, their will is the result, and we call that an election.
Democracy at work. Honestly, last night was a beautiful thing.
Yeah, I mean...
Doesn't matter how you feel, everything worked.
John Steckroth, our producer here on Jason Carr Live. We are going to be doing this daily going forward, and we will be expanding it going forward.
And I'll get the audio right tomorrow.
I used to sit in a director's chair in like a hollow of the newsroom, surrounded by kind of like this back here. This is the assignment desk back here, by the way. I now sit in full view of Jason Colthorpe. What's going on? He said, "Hey, man."
What's going on? Is that television?
It's something like that. So the president is just one man, takes the House and the Senate. They've been running the country for years. If he's good, just good. If you don't like him, he's out. Canada doesn't want all of our illegals on welfare. They are running to avoid deportation. Says April Barb. He now has the backing of a Republican Senate and can appoint 2 Supreme Court justices. Melissa just says sigh. Michael Moore was right. Yeah, we haven't talked about Michael Moore. We talked about the professor, but I mentioned Michael Moore talking to Nolan Finley in our pollster this morning. Do you not remember that just, a month ago? Michael Moore, Flint native, Davison native, filmmaker, activist, said that Trump's going to win because the elite media, the liberals, were overlooking a very strong undercurrent of white male rage, of disenfranchised, we lost our jobs, we're sick of the status quo, that was out there in Michigan and in points beyond, in the heartland, just laying in wait to have their voices heard, and I think that's what happened.
A lot of states that aren't normally red, that went red.
What do you think?
GOP has retained control of the House and the Senate. They've got the White House, and they'll be able to put 2 Supreme Court justices into seats. So it's definitely historic.
Can we see that opening graphic again that you have? If you're just now waking up, if you're just now joining us, we are about, what time is it? We are about 35 minutes away from Hillary Clinton speaking to the nation. Live at the D coming up here in 5 minutes. We will see you from Studio A live. It's going to do it for the, they're like, yeah, come on. But we'll see you on TV on Local 4 with Chuck and Tati.
Stay classy, Detroit.